You'd be very surprised at how few influencer friends or creator friends that I actually have. Now, before I get into this video, honestly, I want to say that this is not everybody. Obviously, with everything in life, can't generalize people, but it is particularly high in this industry, and I've been doing this for like 12 years now, so I've been able to meet a lot of influencers, creators, content creators. There's something wrong with a lot of these people, I know that, and obviously I'm one of them, but it's really hard to be around quote unquote influencers. Now, certain ones are going to be better than others. And depending on the platform that you're doing, depending on the topics that you're talking about, it all really depends. However, there's just a lot of just not good people, as you can imagine. I mean, this is not surprising. I think to a lot of people, you can imagine that a lot of popular people on the internet suck. I don't know how else to say it. Like they're just not very fun to be around. I think that I think things have somewhat changed for sure because I've been doing this for so long. Now that it's more popular than ever before, especially with all the different platforms and things like this, it's a little bit easier to come across. I think. I don't know. I actually don't know for sure, but there's more creators than ever before because of all the platforms. I want to say it's gone to less people's heads because when I would meet with influencers, again, they could be TikTok influencers, they could be YouTube creators, they could be anything. They would be, when I would meet with them for like 7 years ago, man, there was always this thing that they had that was like, how do you even describe it? I'll give you an example. I'll just give you a real life example of me like talking to somebody. This is here in LA, and I think LA is going to have like the worst of the worst, to be honest. But this was an interaction that occurred maybe like 4 years ago. YouTube was like hosting these sort of short form get-togethers where you could meet with other creators and things like that. And I remember talking to this dude, and I'm just asking him questions. I'm just asking him, what do you do? What do you like to make? What's your favorite, I don't know, way to make content, or what's your daily schedule like? And this guy would just like give me the most like one-worded answers and then just be constantly scanning the room to see who else was there. And he wouldn't even look me in the eye. And that it was so gross to me. It was so, and this funny thing is like that might just be an LA thing, to be honest. It might be just a really gross LA thing because I don't remember meeting anyone else that was quite that bad. And I've heard people literally also say that very same thing about not necessarily influencers, but other people in LA. But I remember that moment so clearly because I'm just trying to be polite and, ask this dude about his content. And he's just constantly scanning the field. And as soon as he sees someone that he wants to talk to, he just goes. And I'm like, bro, that's crazy, first of all. But, and it's, what's even crazier about that whole thing, and what I've been noticing a lot about this, is these people will have like, I think this person had a couple 100,000 followers, which is, pretty good. I'm not saying that's bad, but that's crazy, dude. That's crazy. Nowadays, I don't think that's much of a flex. There's plenty of people with hundreds of thousands. I literally said this on another video on this channel a couple days ago that I actually rechecked the numbers. There's 40,000 YouTube channels bigger than my main YouTube channel with 1.5 million subscribers. There's 40,000 YouTube channels bigger than my channel that has 1.5 million subscribers. So in this day and age, as more and more people are coming online and following different people, you should be proud of having hundreds of thousands of followers, but to treat other people badly, that's crazy, bro. Like you're not Leonardo DiCaprio, you're not some Hollywood movie star from like 50 years ago. I get if they were treating people badly because they were, crazy stars, but yeah, and this is that is one interaction that I'm telling you about, but there was plenty more than just that. There's plenty more like gross people that I got to meet, and I think, like I said in the very beginning, I think it's getting maybe better. I feel like I want to say some good things really quick before I keep getting into the bad stuff. It does very much depend on the niche, and I want to say that I'm extremely fortunate with the niche that I came up through. I came up through a very like gamey, nerdy type way. Like, I was a gaming nerd, basically, starting off my videos here on YouTube. I would just play video games. So the events that I would get invited to were always like nerdy events. Those people were oftentimes extremely nice. Like I said, and that's why I'm saying, like, I'm sure if I did makeup for whatever reason, I don't do makeup, but if I did do makeup, and I can do makeup, don't tell me I can't do makeup, because I found plenty of male makeup influencers. I've met plenty of male makeup influencers, but if I did makeup, ooh, I can't even imagine that world has got to be even like 10,000 times grosser than I can even imagine. I would imagine. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to judge them. Maybe they're very nice, but the ones that I met, they didn't seem so nice. But anyways, I'm lucky. So all the events that I would go to like E3, the video game event. I don't think they even have E3 anymore. Just a bunch of nerdy dudes, or like, just strategy game events. Everyone's like, for the most part, everyone is pretty nice. I don't think I met anyone bad in, like the most recent event I went to was the Civilization 7 launch. And like that, you can kind of just tell everyone's going to be chill at an event like that. Like, we're just all gathered because we like the Civilization 7, like just a nerdy 4X strategy game. A lot of the examples of like where things got gross is when I went to more TikTok influencer stuff, that or VidCon. People got really gross at VidCon. And when I mean gross, I just mean like just not polite, just people looking to further their own pathway forward. They don't care about they care about how many followers you have, but what's interesting is like there would be this new judgment of like, oh, you have over 1 million followers, what do you do? And then there'd be this other judgment of like, oh, you make weird stuff like that? You make weird geography content like that? And then they would, in their mind, I could see them put them in a category that's just like trash, and then they I don't know if they were actually doing that, but it felt like that. And I don't know. I mean, I hope to think of myself as a pretty down-to-earth person. Like, I try to just be really normal, honestly. I feel like I am really normal. I don't know. It's not really something I can explain on camera. It's just something that if you were to meet me in real life, I think you'd be able to see that. So yeah, when I go to events, I just like to meet people, especially if it's a creator that like I know about. It's like, oh, I just want to come over there, shake your hand, be like, hey, I'm a big fan. I like your videos. Just ask them a thing or two. I just like to do, nowadays, that's just what I like to do. When I was first coming up, I used to get starstruck over certain creators. It was so funny. Like, for a long time, I would get really starstruck over certain people, like Quill18. I remember when I was really, really young, I saw Quill18, and I'm like, oh my God. Because he'd been around for so much longer than I had at that point. He still is around. But yeah, there's definitely creators where I'm like, whoa, this is crazy. Like, nowadays, I don't really feel the starstruckness. I think part of it is I want to make sure I meet these people and make sure they seem like nice people in real life, to be honest. It's like, let me go meet this person and make sure they're actually nice behind the camera. But yeah, I mean, obviously people have different personalities behind the screen. I will say that. And that doesn't necessarily mean you're bad. Some people are like really strange. Obviously they might not seem as extroverted as they come off in videos. Certainly that could be the case. Some people might think that about me. I don't think I'm extremely introverted, but I might not be as, if you see me in real life. I hope I'm not like that on camera, but I might not be the exact same, but I do like to see, I feel like a lot of YouTubers, it's a little bit jarring, specifically YouTubers. Their personality is a little bit different and a little bit like 3 degrees lower when you meet them in real life. Like their personality isn't as big, and that is not shocking. I mean, look at like a Mr. Beast video. Like, Obviously, Mr. Beast is going to be a lot more calm in real life. He's not going to start off his video like, I just put 1 million people in a bed of lava. Like, he's not going to act like that in real life. So I think critical probably is probably the exact way. That's a good example of Penguin Zero, Moist Critical. He's a good example of somebody that probably acts exactly like that in real life. But that's his style of video. That's just his style. But anyways, just a warning. I know a lot of people already knew this. I know a lot of people like have had their own bad taste of creators, and it's just it's unfortunate that that's happening. But again, it depends on the niche. Not everybody's like that. It could just be an LA thing. When I went to an event in New York, it wasn't quite this bad. I feel like New York people were a little bit more down to earth. But there's a whole cultural topic to talk about when it comes. Like, I love comparing the cultural feel of different American cities, how people treat you differently, even just here in Southern California. Like, I can tell you right now, the way people are up in like West Side LA is significantly different than like San Diego. There's a massive cultural shift there. I mean, I live in Orange County. I love comparing Orange County to LA County. So like, there's a huge personality change there, and this is coming from a guy that came from both, who lived in both counties for years and years and years. So I love doing that. So this might just be like a New York thing. I've always liked how real people are from New York. Like, I'd rather you be mean in the beginning, but be kind, rather than a lot of people in Los Angeles. They do a fake niceness, but in reality, they're really gross and mean. I need to stop using the word gross. I don't think it's the right word, but for some of them, they kind of are. But I met a lot of good TikTokers. I will say there are good TikTokers, but more than likely there is a lot of bad ones, and I think that they're rewarded, especially short form creators. They're rewarded more for their personality. I think that a lot of their personality is like permanently who they are on short form content, because it's so easy to just click go. It's so easy to click record and go. I think a lot of them probably do put that personality on in real life. Whereas like YouTube, there's typically a lot more to do before you press record. Like for me, instance, I have to turn the lights on. This depends on what type of YouTube videos you're doing. But YouTube, what it comes down to is production value. If you have a little bit more production value, then there's a little bit more to get ready. Whereas like, I think with short form creators, it's like, you just pop out your phone and you start creating. So I think, unfortunately, people are rewarded to maybe have more bad habits because they always have to be on. That could be it. But again, it's across all platforms. Now, to be fair, I haven't met a whole lot of Twitch creators. I kind of have, because there's been so many YouTubers that I think of as YouTubers, but they're actually just Twitch creators. But it does depend on what type of stuff that you're doing, and also depends on the short form platform. TikTok is worse, in my opinion. Instagram, I feel like the Instagram people pretty okay, but I'm like a little bit hesitant to say that. YouTube Shorts, I don't even know. I can't even begin to explain YouTube Shorts because it's just such a wild mess. But let me know if you have any weird experiences with influencers down below. I'm sure they can't be that good, but it'll be nice to hear like a couple of good stories, because it does make me feel better when I do meet someone that feels kind of more relaxed, kind of just like who they are on camera, or just genuinely nice. It's nice. It's a nice change of pace when I meet someone like that.